Welcome to Budget Insights, a podcast series from EY India Insights, where we share perspectives on key policy developments shaping India's economic and business landscape. I'm your host Pallavi, and in today's episode of today pre-budget episode, we focus on expectations, priorities, and the potential focus areas for India's manufacturing sector ahead of the upcoming Union Budget 2026. We are pleased to be joined by Saurabh Agarwal, partner of tax at EY India, who brings deep experience and strong insights into manufacturing, investment policy, and the evolving regulatory environment. In this episode, Saurabh will share his perspectives on how the union budget can strengthen India's manufacturing base, the future of incentive frameworks such as PLI, and the role of tax certainty and compliance simplification in attracting sustained private investment. Thank you, Saurabh, for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Pallavi.
So, Saurabh, to begin with, how can Union Budget 2026 strengthen India's manufacturing base through targeted incentives and policy stability?
So, Pallavi, if you look at the overall the way the global landscape is working, the global tensions all across, the focus of various governments to strengthen their manufacturing and also explore the possible manufacturing in different parts of the world. I think if we look at all these things holistically, India's manufacturing story today is at a vital inflection point. While we have committed a massive 2.9 lakh crores to 3 lakh crores across 20 PLI schemes stroke programs, the bridge between allocation and actualization remains wide. It's important to understand that only 25,000 crores has been estimated to be dispersed by the financial year 24-25 claims are concerned. Therefore, the budget 2026 must focus on execution velocity to stay ahead of the fragmented global landscape. We have seen a stellar success in mobiles, semiconductors, and food PLI schemes, but it may not be similar type of schemes which can help in sectoral growth in other sectors. Therefore, if we have to look at, we need to look from two perspectives. First, operational flexibility. By way of reviewing the existing schemes to lower entry barriers and simplify the domestic value addition norms till the time the overall ecosystem gets developed for a particular sector in India. Secondly, whatever schemes which have been announced so far or the budgets have been allocated, say toys and footwear scheme, these are labor intensive sectors and can result in massive employment. It is important for the government to release the granular details of these schemes so that these budgets can be effectively utilized.
Thank you, Saurabh. Now, do you see any scope for expanding incentive frameworks like PLI to newer technology-driven manufacturing sectors?
Pallavi, one thing which I have been saying time and again is the second wave of these schemes in three sectors. First is the semiconductor. I think it's very, very important for any nation to have a semiconductor self-reliance or a display fab self-reliance now. Second is our battery ecosystem, which is the lithium-ion battery ecosystem. And thirdly, when I look at a revised or maybe a second version of a automotive and automotive component PLI scheme. What is vital now is that our focus should move beyond assembly to high-end deep tech manufacturing, but something which will happen over a period of time, maybe over a period of 2 to 4 years, and may not be in the initial years where the value addition will be lower, but over a period of time as ecosystem develops, the value addition becomes higher. Second thing, when you say the new frontiers or a new technology schemes, I think there is an immense scope to expand PLI to space tech, AI-led robotics, semiconductor ecosystem. So these are some of those areas where the next industrial revolution is likely to come from. And therefore, the incentives must follow the technology.
Thank you, Saurabh. Lastly, how critical is tax certainty and compliance simplification in attracting sustained private investment into manufacturing?
Taxes in India have historically been a maze. However, if you look at the last decade, the intent of the policymakers and leadership is clear. Move from tax uncertainty to tax certainty by way of transparency. When you say certainty, it's important to understand why certainty matters. Investors don't just look at the rate, they look at the risk of the change. Basis the risk of the change, the decisions are taken to invest in a particular country or not to invest in a particular country. If you have to ask for two big tax changes, which I am looking at from this budget, first is the 15% question, which my clients keep on asking. There's a loud call to reintroduce or extend the 15% concessional corporate tax rate for new manufacturing units. This was something which was a master stroke which expired in 2024. Reviving it in budget 2026 would be a massive signal to global CEOs that India is the most tax competitive destination in Asia. Next thing is simplifying compliance. We are hearing about a move to reduce customs duty slab from 8 to somewhere around 5 or 6. We have witnessed a similar change as far as the GST rates is concerned. This is not just a number game. It reduces classification, disputes that currently clog our courts. What is important from a customs duty perspective is the phased manufacturing program. It has worked wonders for mobile phone and mobile component industry. We started by taxing finished handsets at a higher rate and keeping parts cheap. Then we slowly increased duties on parts to force local production. Once the domestic manufacturing of mobile phones got stabilized, we have again brought down the duty rate on finished handsets, thereby providing a level playing field to a foreign manufacturer and an Indian manufacturer.
Thank you, Saurabh. That brings us to the end of this episode. And thank you for sharing your valuable insights on the pre budget perspectives. Your views provide important context and expectations from the Union Budget 2026, particularly around the manufacturing growth, policy stability, and the investment enablement.
Thank you, Pallavi.
Thank you to all our listeners for tuning into the Budget Insights as part of our EVA India Insights series. Stay connected with us for post budget analysis and expert commentary on how policy developments impact businesses and the broader economy. Until next time, this is Pallavi signing off.